Hello everyone, I'm Instructor Ford. This is Mr. Weaver, and we are going to be getting into lesson 17 of American Kick Punch Karate. Um, so excuse my raspiness, excuse Mr. Weaver's raspiness. Seasonal allergies in Northwest Georgia, and it is awesome. So if you see me twitching on my nose, it's usually what that is my nose gets itchy. I get the phantom itches. It's crazy. Um, so, later on in this video, we're going to be getting into, as I told you in Yellow Belt, that I kind of focus on a different area of the body for self-defense. At basic green belt, not first stripe green belt, but basic green belt. It's going to be escaping out of different arm holds. I consider an over the arms bear hug to be an arm hold because the arms are pinned to the body, therefore it's an arm hold. Now, under the arm bear hug is on the torso. We'll get into that. We may do some with that just because it's in the realm of the bear hug, but we'll get into it. So we're looking at Saturn, and I was talking to Will earlier, and I was like, I think I might want to explain why I break the katas up in chunks. What's the point in that learning? Why are we doing that? Why not just teach the whole thing? One, simplicity. Two is it teaches the sequence of that line of movement. So in katas, when we look at katas, I want to look at sequential movement. I want to look at the sequence. I want it to have fluidity within that sequence. I want the techniques to be crisp. I want that sequence of movement to be fluid. So that helps build that fluidity automatically because you're learning it like a combination. So you're moving in a sequence and you're focusing on that sequence. So in this form, I'm going to teach you 5 sequences. So this one's going to have 5 lessons built around the form. I told you before that this particular chunk of green belt is going to be like 6 or 7 lessons long. When we get into first stripe green belt, that's going to be probably about 5 lessons in and of itself because we've got to break down that form and it's going to be okay. So 2 things to note on Saturn. One is the ki-eyes happen on fancy movement, which is generally what we do in forms. So generally you don't see just like a random ki on a random punch. It's usually emphasizing the technique traditionally in kata. So that's one thing to note. The other thing to note is the fluidity. So on the paperwork for the form, you have options on the original American Kick Punch Karate forms. One of the options is my English. It's awesome. But one of the options is you can do singular techniques in the sequence, or you can do multi-chamber techniques in the sequence when it comes to, on this part, you're going to see right roundhouse, right side kick. So you don't have to ever touch the ground with it, and I think that's awesome. So I tend to do it on a single chamber. You don't have to do it on a single chamber if you're not comfortable balancing on one leg for 2 kicks. I encourage you to do it. Try to work toward it, even if you've got to throw that round kick for the leg, which is a great technique, and then stamp it into the ribs. That side kick, just stamp that thing into the ribs. You've got a great technique there. Though it's calling for like a head level round kick and then a medium to high side kick, you've still got a great combination of technique. And if you're losing your balance on this, set that foot down and do it in 2 techniques. It's not really going to affect you as bad. So we'll get into this and then we'll combine the 2 parts. So the easiest way for me to do this is facing the camera so you can see the technique. And we were on right hand chop block. So you remember this movement. We're here. So we're going to turn our foot, the foot that's on the ground. You see my foot turning. We're going to turn our foot. We're going to look over this shoulder, and there's a ki that happens here. So I'm going to stack, and I'm going to shoot a back kick into the target. So I'm going to turn my heel to face it, which is going to line me up for a good kick, and then I'm going to turn around on the kick. Now here comes that multi-chamber kick. The first round we're going to do it without the multi-chamber, just because we're teaching the individual technique, and your kiai is on the first movement. So it's your first spinning back kick, or the building blocks to a spinning back kick is right there. That's literally what you teach a beginner. So our hands are here. We're going to do a round kick with the right leg. We're going to set the leg down, then we're going to do a side kick, and then you're going to see another knife hand block, and then a back kick with the right leg off to the side. So we come in, there's going to be a kick. You want it to come up. It does not have to go head level, at least rib, or if you just do not have the balance on that round kick due to medical reasons or whatever, throw that thing for their leg, throw that thing for the back of the knee or the femoral artery, or God forbid the ankle. So round kick, side kick, and right hand chop block. Then you're going to look over that shoulder. You're going to line, this foot is going to line up. So you see the threat, and you're going to throw a side kick, or actually a back kick, and turn into the target, and that leads into other technique. So that's essentially that sequence. So now, due to training it in sequences, you're going to treat that like one giant sparring combination. And I like to look at this one as you got someone coming up on your side while you're doing this, and so you've got to stamp them. You got to feed them a stamp to the chest, get them off of you. So we're here. We turn that foot. We come here. Now, while we've turned around, our hands are up in a guard, and whatever your fighting stance is, you can use. My hands are up. Usually you see me go wide, but now round kick, say you don't have the mobility and you're working on the mobility, you can choose to round sweep, set down, kick, chop block, and well, turn this foot. You can turn this one too if you need to. And now backside kick, yeah.
I did the other.
Backside kick, back kick, it does not matter. Now, you know, that was a low round kick, then a side kick. Let's try multi-chamber on this one. So we're here, we chamber, we tuck in. You could look at this as I'm grabbing their foot. If you want to add some monkai, make it make sense. I'm grabbing their foot because I've shrunk my silhouette. And now I'm going to kick their support leg out from under them while I let go. So that's one use of that. So we're here, we turn back to the beginning. We turn. Now let's use a multi-chamber. We're going to go, I'm going to go ribs and then stamp to the ribs again. And now, backside kick. Now let's try to add some fluidity. The only pause you should have is here. Now you see that threat, and then you adjust for it. And you want to just keep building that speed. But you don't want to see like you see on social media, where you see there's some really rough stuff coming out of India right now. Used to it was coming out of like Latin America, but right now it's coming out of India, and they're trying to do stuff real fast. And so if you look up that one, without getting too far into the India conversation, years ago, break this down for you. American Kick Punch Karate, our manuals were plagiarized and retitled as like International Kick Punch Karate, or they were relabeled as India kick punch karate. And it goes back to like 1999, about the time all the crazy managerial stuff was going on. In that slurry of craziness, we had everything plagiarized, and this new system was born, and it's identical to ours, and that's fine. They could just left the name, but they chose to stick India. It's a national pride thing. And some of the stuff you see with their syllabus, and this is if you find their footage, because I know when we first got back involved in this project, revitalizing American Kick Punch Karate, the footage you could find of the forms being formed were from India, because most of the American forms had either disappeared or have since been buried by the algorithm. But a lot of the forms you were seeing were the forms coming out of India. They were from like the year 2000, 2001. And you would see them just kind of rush through stuff as fast as they could. So like on Pluto, you would see them do Pluto, and they would bow and be like a deep bow, and then they would get ready and they would start out, and they were punching faster and they were stepping and rushing through the technique, and it looked awful. So I think moving forward, we've got to make our technique very clean. So stamp your techniques, man. Make them look good.
Doing the little blocks with it.
Yeah,
No.
halfway doing blocks. Will's seen some of the footage. I saw it and gasped. Like, no, do not kill this system. If you're going to plagiarize it or do it, keep it at its core as much as possible. So, we want to stamp technique in. We don't want to flow through technique. We want to stamp the technique and treat it like just treat it how you'd want to see it performed. If you want to see it done sloppy, do it sloppy and see how far that goes. But I suggest stamping the technique. So if we want to stamp the technique, we're here. Let's go with some fluidity. Nice. Oh, I did the wrong leg. I mean, it flowed.
You did a back leg then?
I did.
The first time I did the back leg.
I did the side kick. I caught it too. I was like, that feels way too good.
Well, the first time I did the back kick off this one and turned that way.
It felt way too good. I don't know if they'll make it in the final cut. It probably will, because we make mistakes. So now we're going to do what you have on the form so far, and beware of this direction change, because it's going to challenge you. Nice. And that is how far you are on Saturn. Now that last direction change, I might leave them in the final film. It depends on what kind of time we have. They get me breaking the form down. Like when I don't break it down, I'm just like, I go through the whole thing. I'm happy.
Okay,
But when I break it down, I get turned around, and it's just not good. It's not a good vibe.
Well, alternative.
Oh yes, this is version 2.
Yeah.
I had a friend whose Kempo instructor would do that.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, he taught us version 2, and it's like, oh, that's where he messed up on what he's. I was very familiar with the instructor, and yeah, he would openly laugh about teaching version 2, and he's just rolling off whatever he messed up on. So all the version 2s look totally different, but he would get turned around. This one actually turns me around when I'm explaining it. When I just do it, it does not. So, yeah, well, also like the Ishimura Kata. So when I explain Shinto, if I don't watch what I'm doing, I end up completely backwards. Don't mind that, it's a possessed squirrel. So we're going to get into arm pin defenses and anything grabbing the arm. So in grappling, you're going to learn to swim. Swimming is easy. It's also in stand-up fighting. It is enveloping. It is wrapping. It is reaping. So we're going to start off with something very simple. He comes in to grab the arm. So no, the arm.
I'm
the
grabbing.
arm.
Oh,
Yeah, he's
oh.
grabbing the arm, and I'm just going to swim. Now, if I swim the other way, go ahead and grab the arm again. Just get with your partner and guide it through. If he grabs and I want to step in after you've gotten that swim motion and I want to step in, I now have hammerlock. I can rip the shoulder. I can rip the elbow. So, or I can leave this thing straight and come into the elbow and have armbar. So you got multiple options here. So say he's getting ready to punch. So the block I'm using is if he throws a punch, let's do it on this shoulder. He throws a punch and I hit that shoulder, it takes away the fulcrum point of that punch. So it takes all the energy out of this punch because you have disrupted a kinetic chain by stopping it here. So all that kinetic energy is going into that shoulder. So again, try to punch. It shortens the punch. And again, if off this block, I could come in and I could break the elbow, or I could wrap the elbow into an Americana, grab his gi, and walk him wherever I want to take him. I could even step past him and flip him really in a nasty manner. But we're swimming. Now, if we swim the other way, we're talking about swimming out and around and coming in. If we swim the other way, we end up with a whole different series of technique. The further down I slide on his elbow, the easier this is. Of course, I'm monkey gripping, and he's got no choice to go where I put him. So you're going to swim, and depending on where you move your body will be what he does in response to swimming. And I kind of want to chase him with this because I don't want him, you know, you always have the guy in class that just like slips away and then laughs at you.
Bobs and gets out.
Yeah, bobs and gets out. I don't want him doing that. So I want to make it, he's grabbing, I want to chase him. So even if he does grab and start to turn to get away, I want to chase him. End result on this exercise is I want to walk him. You can ask Will, he's getting light on his heels.
Yep.
So that's drill number one. Play with that, get in to moving in on the person. Also, if you want to have a lot of fun, you can get into dropping weight after you get the lock. Dropping weight, and that's all kinds of fun because once I come here, I might decide, well, I'm going to drop my weight this way and roll with him, grab his belt and his gi and roll with him and throw him. Work on break falls before you do this because they're going to smack the mat really hard. Just sit down. Don't even throw your weight. Just sit down with it and give them a chance to fall. And actual fighting, drop, and you'll likely break stuff on them on their fall or on when they fall and hit the ground. Stuff is going to happen and it's not going to be nice. All right, so I consider any pin over the arm, anything holding my arms to the side, I'm considered an attack on the arms. It doesn't matter if they're bear hugging me. We'll do one from the front and one from the back. And I'm going to explain these these techniques. So the first one we're going to do is a bear hug over the arms, and he is going to be facing me. So when he faces me, the first thing I'm going to do is bring my hands out. Now it's very important at this stage that you do this. So we're going to bring the hands out. Now I can choose to step in, or I can choose to step back. And that's going to be important. So it's going to look ridiculous while you're doing this, but I can go in or I can go out. So as soon as I get bear hugged. Now hang on. What are some reasons I want you to think about this? What are some reasons I would want to step in or step back? What am I doing with my weight?
Shifting.
I'm shifting my weight. So what happens when someone bigger than you bear hugs you? Well, they try to get you off your feet. So that step in is hooking. I can hook. That step back is weight shifting. I'm leaning back with him. I'm regaining my weight. Now, if he's not giving that to me, the hook is what I'm going to use because he's bigger than me. I'm going to hook so he can't pick me up any further. And all that is, I'm just wrapping my leg around his leg and keeping him from picking me up. Same thing if you're applying a triangle choke and you're against a bigger guy, to keep him from curling you, you hook his knee. So again, we're hooking the knee. So when he bear hugs me, my point here is I'm taking away his fulcrum point. That's what that is. And that allows me to step back. You know who has control now? I have control. And then I'm going to grab that belt and I'm going to throw a knee in there. And he's not going to be hanging on past that knee because I'm just going to keep throwing them. I'm going to throw them so many times that he's either going to pass out or he's going to loosen his grip. Now, the next part of this is, go ahead and grab me again. Say I don't get my hands on the hips soon enough and he starts to pick me up. I hook and he's going to fall. We land on the ground, still deploy those hands. Space. It's like an automatic space. So, grab me again. He's grabbing me again. I'm pushing the hips down, taking away that fulcrum, and now I'm stepping back and rolling over the shoulder, and I have a nice loose arm bar. I've attacked his shoulder, and I can throw a knee and flip him. I can do all kinds of fun stuff. As you know, we're not shy to go into the clover. I'm being nice today. Will's like, I just cleaned this uniform. So another version of this is when he comes over and really grab your opponent. Don't just, okay, I've got him. Really grab your opponent if you're okay. So when he grabs me, and I deploy and I sink my weight, I come here, I can start headbutting. Once I get that weight, I can actually umbrella out to the point in the struggle where I can shoot him off of me.
Like headbutt.
Oh yeah, you can headbutt away because you're probably fighting for your life. Now, the next one we're going to do is over the arms from the back. And what's going to happen here is I'm going to open up like an umbrella. I've just got to expand my shoulders. I'm also going to sink my weight back, or I'm going to sink my weight forward. If you watch any of Tokyo Kata, my personal form, this appears because it's a great technique. So there are a few ways to get out of this, but the key here is I want to sink my weight. So when he grabs me over my arms, I want to sink my weight, get my arms up, and bring it up. I'm going to capture it, and I can decide to roll in here and get the arm. Go ahead and grab me again. Or I could bring it in and capture again. So the lower they grab, the harder the technique is, but I want to get that umbrella and sink my weight. What's happening when I sink my weight?
My wife's on.
You're losing your weight, you're losing your base. So if you lose your base, what's happening?
I'm on balance.
You're relying on me. If he's relying on you to hold his balance for him, you've got a powerful tool because you are now his base, you're now his balance. So again, when he grabs over the arms, you can do this a little quicker. Worry about getting in, and if you get to this point, tuck that elbow into your sternum, step around his leg, and bow with him. If he tries to reach over after you've applied this, go ahead and reach over. He's not going to be reaching anything. I can just hold it here and move to this position and pull him back, but I like having his elbow here because it allows me to walk him around, and when I bow with him, he either flips or gets his shoulder dislocated. So the second technique is literally here or here, but definitely cup those hands. No matter what you do, cup the hands. That's important. A lot of instructors will not tell you to cup the hands. Cup those hands. Because now you've got him and you're getting ready to do some not so nice things to this person. So again, he's grabbing. The first thing I do is I hit, I'm elbowing. And I cup the hands. I could come in here and take his wrist in and tie him up even nasty in Tegeshi and get ready to flip him with a bow. His feet will go like that. He'll get dislocated here and here. So, yeah, well, let me roll that around. So, the movement is here or here, whichever one you prefer. They both do the exact same thing, and always cup those hands. That is important. The cupping of the hands just gives you a point of contact on here, so when he is grabbing, it allows me to do so much more to him, and when I get ready to throw him, boom, it gives me that pin to be able to throw him. And I've got so much room, I can slip all over those arms. If you're really limber, get out of that thing, step over his shoulder, and roll him into an arm bar. As long as you're really limber and this is an in-class situation, I wouldn't recommend doing that and fighting outside of class. But it'd be funny in class if you have someone way smaller. Just build a base, get room, get your leverage. Build a base and get leverage are the two things we're doing here. So again, with the front, let's look at that again and let's apply principles to it. So he grabs me from the front. The first thing I'm doing is building a base and getting leverage. Now, what happens here after I've widened my base out and I've got my leverage and he's losing leverage, it's kind of like on a hip toss. When he goes to hip toss you, go ahead and get ready to flip me over the shoulder. When he goes to hip toss and I put my hand in his hip, it doesn't matter how close I am to him, but I put my hand in his hip. What that hand to the hips does, it takes away that mobility. And that one's particularly nasty because it shoots his weight down, locks him out, makes him easier to use his weight against him, stomp his knee from behind, stomp the top of their calf muscle, and just shoot them to the ground. Now their head is like right here. And depending on what you do from that point, may constitute as revenge under your state or country's laws. Please be careful. I have to add in that. Because now they're not even facing you, they're not even grabbing you, and you got their head in your hand.
That worked good, toss. I was going for the wrong toss.
It doesn't matter what toss.
I was going for
It does not matter what toss. Once you take away the mobility of the hips,
yep,
they have no choice but to rethink their life choices or their choices in that moment.
Yeah, because I couldn't drop down to my knees.
Yeah, you
done
can't.
angled me out.
Yeah, you drop down to your knees. You're just giving me technique. But yeah, taking the base, creating a base and sinking your weight, and it comes into weight shifting. We weight shift and we coil through this whole thing. But when you get to where you start sinking your weight, you start doing a thing we call Okinawan karate rooting. You root into the ground, and you become. It's kind of like a little kid when they don't want to cooperate. My oldest son, when he was small, he would go boneless. Oh, my youngest son does the same thing. When he doesn't want to cooperate, he would go boneless, and he would sink. You know, little kids do this. They'll sink all their weight automatically. And I don't want to go boneless, but I want to sink all my weight, become hard to move. I don't care how big or small you are. Once you learn how to take away that fulcrum point, you can get very hard to move. And you can sink that weight, create a wide base, and absolutely dismantle whoever's trying to throw you. I'm Instructor Ford. This is Mr. Weaver. I think this is lengthier than we intended, but we're pleased to present it. And this is episode 17. My goodness.